It's time to stop horsing around. So My Little Pony is a cartoon series about ponies, and I don't think they're very little. This series has a very huge fan base, and today I am using a full team of Pokemon based on My Little Pony characters. Special thank you to Lara for suggesting this team idea. If you have an idea for a Pokemon team, be sure to comment below and I will use it. As for the Pokemon that I'm going to be using on this team, they are horse, definitely a very fitting horse, not a horse, and definitely not a horse. If only Galarian Ponyta or Rapidash was in this game. Now, without further ado, let's see how this team of horses did. Good morning, afternoon, and evening, lovely people. Today I am using a My Little Pony team. This series used to be like everywhere back in like 2012 and 2013, so it's interesting just having to revisit it for this team, and it's also interesting to see that so many people still love and look fondly on My Little Pony, but specifically Generation 4 of My Little Pony. That's the only one everyone ever talks about. But anyway, if you enjoy these types of videos where I use different Pokemon teams based on franchises that have really interesting Pokemon that I use, or just interesting Pokemon teams in general, then please consider subscribing. I would really appreciate it. And with that, let's get right into this first game. So really quick, I just want to apologize for the lack of audio in either of these battles. I've had issues with OBS just not recording the audio for both of these, so that's great. But I still have two really interesting battles to show you. Now, I'm leading things off here with my Spectrier. I wanted to gauge out the damage versus this Rotom because I am running a fully offensive Spectrier. Now, this has 4 attacking moves. I have Shadow Ball, Draining Kiss, Mud Shot, and Terra Blast Flying with the Expert Belt, which boosts the damage based on if my move is super effective, which is why I have so many different coverage moves on this set. Now, I'm also running Terra Flying on this set because of the fact that Twilight Sparkle, she became like a Pegasus in that one episode, right? So I thought it was fitting. So I kind of have to fandangle my way around this Rotom because it was a pretty big problem for my team. So I swapped into Mudsdale on what I thought would be a Volt Switch, which they went for, and then I went to my Keldeo on an anticipated Hydro Pump, but this Rotom ends up being both Thunder Wave and Will-O-Wisp, which is really interesting. Now I have 3 words for this set: Choice, Scarf, Keldeo. This set is an absolute classic, and this Pokemon was genuinely the best Pokemon that I had on this team. I have Secret Sword, which hits on the defensive side, and Focus Blast as my 2 strong special fighting type attacks. I also have Surf with Terra Water and Flip Turn on this as well for momentum. So thankfully, I'm going to go for a Focus Blast and land it, thankfully, which is the only way I was going to be able to get rid of this Rotom Wash, and that takes it out, which is great. Like I said, it was definitely a nuisance for my team to deal with. So taking some burn damage, and now they're going to bring in the Venusaur. So can't really stay in on this matchup because Focus Blast is not going to do anything, and I'm just going to get blasted by a grass move from this thing. They end up going for Leech Seed though, and they miss. So I was like, okay, well, I can switch into my my Deerling here and soak up the Leech Seed at the very least. This set is really interesting. It's a Focus Sash Deerling, and this Pokemon actually gets access to Thunder Wave for paralysis, which is nice because it works in conjunction with Serene Grace Headbutt, so I could try to get some nasty 60% flinches on the opponent, which is just grimy. I also have Trailblaze to boost my speed, and the last move I have on this is Endeavor, just in case trying to para-flinch my opponent doesn't end up working out. So I'm gonna paralyze the Venusaur. I expected them to go for like a Sludge Bomb. I'm hoping that I don't get poisoned because I'm gonna be able to live on my Focus Sash and then go for the Endeavor on this Venusaur. So going for the Endeavor, that is going to allow me to outspeed because they're paralyzed, and also put them on 1 HP, but then they end up getting fully paralyzed. They end up being Black Sludge Venusaur as well, so I thought, oh my gosh, I could just go for a Headbutt, and I get a Deerling gets a KO against Venusaur. That is like a first time ever. Good job, Fluttershy. Now, this turn, I fully expected Meanshao to want to go for the Fake Out just to priority to take me out, so I wanted to swap in my Mudsdale just to get the Fake Out stamina boost, but unfortunately, they went for knockoff, and they knock off my Throat Spray. I'm actually running a fully special Mudsdale. This is such a bad set. So this has Throat Spray, Roar. Roar is actually a pretty good move anyway because it could force the opponent to switch out into another Pokemon. And that also activates my Throat Spray, giving me a special attack boost. And as for coverage, I have Earth Power, Focus Blast, and Terra Fairy, Terra Blast. This Pokemon special attack is just really not good. But it does get access to Stamina, which is still a great ability. So it does still make it very bulky at the very least, even if I'm running an offensive set. So I'm going to get hit by the Ice Spinner. Honestly, I kind of expected the Meanshao to maybe want to go for like a U-turn. So if they U-turned out into another matchup, I could just roar out the Meanshao. But they're going to end up getting forced into... Or rather, yeah, they're going to end up getting forced into the Garchomp, which is going to go for Swords Dance. So, Earth Power just like nothing to this without the Throat Spray boost. So, I'm going to go into my Sylveon, mainly because I want to block this Garchomp from going for like a Scale Shot and boosting their speed. And I figured that this Sylveon might force them to Terrasilize, which they are going to be able to do. They end up being Terra Fire. I kind of thought that they would either be Terra Fire or Terra Steel. Now, this Sylveon set, I'm running a Choice Banded Physical Sylveon, which is crazy. It actually gets people by surprise. It's really good. So I have Pixelate on this as my ability, which turns my normal type moves into fairy type moves. So I have Quick Attack for priority, Double Edge, and Giga Impact as an absolute nuke. Now, in case the Garchomp didn't Terrasilize, I just went for the Choice Banded Quick Attack anyway. Like I said, I needed to block the Garchomp from getting the speed boost from Scale Shot. They are going to take me out with the +2 Earthquake, of course, but this is good that they Terrasilize into a Fire type because I can bring in my Choice Scarf Keldeo, outspeed them, and then hit them with the super effective Surf that easily takes out the Garchomp, and that's really good for me. That gets rid of their Terrasilize option on top of that, and in general, I'm looking like a really good position with my Keldeo in the endgame. They do still have some threatening Pokemon in the back, like this Scizor here. Now, I knew Surf wasn't going to take them out. I was worried about this thing having like dual Wing Beat as well, but they end up Swords Dancing on my swap. I was like, that was a risky Swords Dance. I might have been able to 2-hit KO the Scizor with the Surf, but me bringing in Deerling at the very least ensured that they wouldn't be able to go for more than one Swords Dance because I could threaten them with the Endeavor. So, I'm going to go into my Glastrier here for rarity. Now, this is a defensive Glastrier. I have to Terrasilize into a water type so that I can resist the Technician Bullet Punch. And this set is fully physically defensive. Glastrier has really good defenses. The problem is that it's an ice type, so it's a really bad defensive type. So I had to run heavy duty boots just so that I wouldn't have to take so much hazard damage from like Stealth Rocks and everything, because that would be really bad for my set, because I want to wall as many Pokemon as possible. And Terra Water is a very good defensive typing for this Pokemon. Now this is an Avalanche, Body Press, Rest, Sleep Talk Glastrier as well. So it can get pretty bulky. I have Body Press because I'm running max defense, but as the Scizor goes for another Swords Dance, they're going to hit me with a Pound, which I am able to take just because of the fact that I'm so bulky in my defenses. But Body Press isn't really doing too much. Now, I decided to sacrifice my Mudsdale here on what I'm anticipating to be another Pounce, and I really didn't need to preserve my Mudsdale anymore anyway, just because of the fact that it wasn't really beating Typhlosion or Mienshao in the back. So swapping in my Keldeo, I knew that I could very much tank a +4 Bullet Punch. Thankfully, I am able to do that, and a Choice Scarf Surf is going to be enough to take out the Scizor. Now, there is a very problematic Pokemon in the back, being the Mienshao, which is more than likely Regenerator. Yeah, it is Regenerator because it's Life Orb and it got all of its health back. Now, this was pretty tough because I had to swap in my Spectre here. It's Paralyzed. They go for the knockoff. I wasn't expecting that. I was really hoping that they would go for maybe like a fighting move, like Close Combat or something. But they knock off and easily like one-shot my Spectre. So I'm going to swap in my Glastrier. They're going to go for the Close Combat, which is also going to be enough to take out Glastrier. But that does drop their defenses. But I was thinking that they're going to swap out into Typhlosion, sacrifice the Typhlosion on my Choice Scarf Surf, and then they won't have the defense drops. They'll be at full HP with Regenerator, and then they will be able to take a Surf from me. But they end up staying in. I was like, oh my gosh, thank goodness they stayed in, because if they swapped out into their Typhlosion, then I would have been able to take out the Typhlosion, but the Mienshao would have been able to live the Surf after because of the fact that they don't have the defense drops, and they would be at full HP. And Typhlosion, even if this was Choice Scarf, it was never outspeeding my Keldeo, so I'm happy that I won that game, but also I think they definitely should have swapped out their Mean Shao that turn and sacrificed the Typhlosion, because I'm Choice Scarf Keldeo. I was never getting outsped by a Scarf Typhlosion. Now, that is going to lead into this second game. If you're enjoying this video, please don't forget to hit the like button. I would really appreciate it. And thank you so much for watching this far. I really love doing these Pokemon battle content and just narrating over these battles. Now, my opponent's team definitely has some very threatening Pokemon, like Iron Valiant, of course. So let's see how I do in the second team with all these horses. So right off the bat, I have to deal with the freaking Roaring Moon lead. Now, I'm going to lead off with my Deerling. At the very least, I could go for a Thunder Wave, try to paralyze this Roaring Moon. It ends up being Focus Energy, which is really interesting. So, going for the Thunder Wave, thankfully I land. And also, I should mention that if Galarian Ponyta was in this game, I definitely would have chosen that over freaking Deerling. But Deerling has the same color palette as Fluttershy, so I thought it was still like a good overall fit. Unfortunately, this freaking Roaring Moon ends up getting through the Paraflinch, and they also end up having Skill Shot, which gets around my Focus Sash. So that's going to easily deal with my Deerling, unfortunately. But it is paralyzed, and they do drop their defense after the Skill Shot. And even after the Speed Boost, they are not going to be able to outspeed my Scarf Keldeo, which could just come in and Sacred Sword. Now, I figured that this Keldeo was going to be, once again, instrumental in this game. But they have this Leafeon, and this Leafeon was actually such a big problem in this game. So I'm going to go into my Glastrier here. It's fully defensive, so I was expecting like a Leaf Blade, but it ends up being Leech Seed on this Leafeon. Now, the thing about this Pokemon is that it actually has a very high defense stat, like Glastrier actually, but they're going to end up terrestrializing out of the Grass type into the Fairy type, and that's obviously going to be way better at like handling hits than like being a Grass type with all its weaknesses. But they're also gonna have Tickle on their set. I'm like, what the heck is this? So that's unfortunate, because I'm running Avalanche on this, and Avalanche is a move that is only 60 base power, but it doubles to 120 base power if I get hit by an attack, and it's also negative priority as well. So if the Leafeon keeps going for Tickle, then my attacks are going to tickle, because they're not going to do anything. And then this Leafeon also has Leech Seed as well, which is going to continuously give it recovery. So I'm kind of like at like a barricade versus this Pokemon, because I don't have anything to hit it for super effective damage. And they also have Terra Fairy, Terra Blast on their set. Now, I do have my Choice Banded Sylveon, so I can at the very least hit them for an unsuspectingly huge Double Edge, which I end up doing so much damage to this thing. And I thought, okay, well, they're running Leftovers, and they're going to get Leftovers and Leech Seed recovery. Now, I wasn't sure if this Leafeon had Synthesis, or if it had like Wish and like Protect without like any like, no, it didn't have Wish Protect, it just used Terra Blast. Anyway, gonna swap into my Mudsdale here. I want to see what this Leafeon is gonna go for. They end up going for another Terra Blast. I could have stayed in and went for another Double Edge. I kind of anticipated that maybe the Excadrill would want to swap in on that though. So I'm gonna get another Stamina boost. I anticipate that this might have Leaf Blade. I mean, obviously it kind of has to have that Grass move in case it doesn't want to Terrestrialize. So they end up revealing their full set, their Leech Seed, Tickle, Terra Blast, and Leaf Blade. So they're not running Synthesis or anything. But I want to roar this thing out just so that it doesn't get any freaking Leftovers and Leech Seed recovery. Unfortunately, I dragged the most specially defensive Pokemon on all time versus a special Mudsdale, and that's the freaking Goodra, which is going to outspeed me and Scald. But at the very least, I got rid of that freaking annoying Leafeon for now anyway. So I'm going to bring in my Scarf Keldeo, go for that Secret Sword. It does some really good damage on the defensive side versus this Goodra. They're going to go for the Scald, probably trying to burn me, but thankfully I don't get burned. I thought Keldeo was, well, I mean, Keldeo is like the most MLP looking Pokemon of all time. Everybody makes an MLP joke related to this thing. I just thought that it really fit Rainbow Dash specifically because it's like mainly like blue, and it's like when it has that Resolute form, it has like the colors of the rainbow on it for the most part. So they're going to bring in the freaking Iron Valiant, and yeah, this Pokemon is going to be very threatening. It's going to be mixed, of course, as well, and they're going to take me out with a combination of Moonblast and Close Combat. Now, I kind of had to sacrifice my Glastrier, unfortunately, but I am going to be able to switch in my Quick Attack Choice Banded Sylveon, and that is going to be able to one-shot the Iron Valiant. Thank goodness they didn't see that coming. So Excadrill comes in. I really don't have many switches to this thing, like, at all. They're actually going to end up going for the Rapid Spin. I thought that they would just straight up want to go for, I thought that they would want to go for just an Iron Head to take me out. But they end up going for 2 Rapid Spins, which is a little problematic because now my Scarf Keldeo is not going to be able to outspeed it. But at the very least, I figured that I should be able to tank whatever hit this this Excadrill goes for. They go for a Drill Run and actually ends up critical hitting me. But thankfully I am able to tank that and go for the Surf to take out the Excadrill. Now, they're going to bring in the Leafeon again. Now, I kind of expected that this would be like more specially defensive based on the damage that I've been doing to it. So, well, based on the damage that I did with my Choice Banded Sylveon. So, I'm going to go full on in on this Keldeo endgame. I'm going to go for the Terra Water Surf. And I'm hoping that this is going to be enough to take out the Leafeon, because at the damage that at the health that it was at, I thought that it would be a roll as to whether or not it would take it out. But thankfully, I am able to take out the Leafeon. Oh my gosh, that Pokemon was annoying. And they're going to go into their Hydreigon. Now, in order for me to ensure that I win in this endgame, I kind of have to sacrifice my Twilight Sparkle to this Dark Pulse, just in case this ended up being a Choice Scarf Hydreigon, because that could outspeed my Spectrier. But it ends up being a Life Orb Hydreigon, so I thought, okay, well, this is good. I'm going to be able to outspeed and go for the Secret Sword, take out the Hydreigon. If they were Choice Scarf, I was still always outspeeding them because Keldeo is faster than Hydreigon. And the last Secret Sword is going to be able to take out the Goodra. That is the end of both games. Rainbow Dash did absolutely amazing in both of these battles. Thank you all so much for watching. My name is SkyLaaa. Don't forget to smile, and I will see you all next time.